Bold.
Cheeky.
Flashy. Gallus.
Hello and welcome to this month's edition of OMFRU. What is OMFRU? In case you haven't seen one before, OMFRU is 1 minute film roundups. You'll see this is about 30 minutes long, and that is because you will be listening to 30 different 1 minute film roundup. And what do we mean by roundup? We mean reviews, we mean parodies, we mean discussions, we mean briefs, we mean why you should watch us, we mean pitches, we mean whatever we bloody want to mean with the concept. This month, we're doing superhero films, so every film you will hear us talk about will it be a superhero film? Enjoy.
Xmen Origins Wolverine rocks, okay? It's so sick. Wolverine, he's Wolverine, okay? And he's got his bone claws. And his brother Victor, Sabretooth, he's evil. And he brings them in to the government agents, and they put adamantium on his bones, because Wolverine, he's super old, okay? And they put adamantium onto his bones, and he gets adamantium claws. And he goes into these old people's houses, and they're so kind to him. They're just so kind. And he cuts up their sink by accident, and it's very cool. And then there's a freaking helicopter, and he cuts all of its propellers off, all its whirly bits, and it crashes, it explodes. So cool. So awesome. I love it so much. And Deadpool's in it as well. Captain Underpants is a fantastic film. As a child, I still have them. All of the Captain Underpants books. They're incredible. They're amazing. You should read them. They're high tier literature. You know, I've started listening to the Blood Meridian audiobook recently, and, Captain Underpants just dominates. The film itself is very, very good. I've only actually seen it once, but I remember thoroughly enjoying it. I really need to rewatch it, but it's very, very good. It's very entertaining. It's very funny. It's got a lot of very iconic scenes in it. Captain Underpants himself in it is iconic. He uses his classic catchphrase "tra-la-la" at least 2 times. The whole film, it's Professor Poopy Pants is the main villain in it, and he's a very intimidating villain. He's a very unique villain. He's like one of the most brutal villains in any film that I've ever seen. Iron Man 2 is a film that I liked as a kid for some unknown reason, despite the fact that it's not that good. It's something, alright. The main villain, the guy with the electric whips, is he's really something. It's okay. I remember liking it as a child, but looking back in it and rewatching it, I found it pretty boring, to say the least. There's really not much to like about it. I guess Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is always good. It introduced War Machine to the MCU. Yeah. Well, I guess it's just not that good. Just shut up. Megamind is an absolutely phenomenal film, okay? I don't care about Megamind 2. I don't care about Megamind 2 TV show. Megamind is a great film. It has Will Ferrell. It has Markiplier. It has Jonah Hill. The film is... it's incredible. I've enjoyed it as a child. I've enjoyed it as an adult when I was in school. Our shared computer system had a bunch of secret folders on it that people would put all sorts of movies and stuff on. So I downloaded Megamind off of that, and I would watch it when I wasn't doing anything in class. And it brought me such great amounts of joy, and it brought joy to several of my classmates who would see that I was in fact watching Megamind. And it's great. if you haven't seen it, you're seriously missing out. Adults enjoy it. Children enjoy it. I've enjoyed it every time I've seen it. And you will too.
X-Men First Class is not only, in my opinion, the best X-Men film that is currently out, it is also one of my favourite films. It is incredible. I love it. I think it is edited very uniquely. I think it being the first film to cast James McAvoy as Charles Xavier and Michael Fassbender as Magneto, it is amazing. It's an amazing casting choice. Fassbender as Magneto is the best part about any of the recent X-Men films, especially in First Class. First Class's directing is amazing. All of the people in it are amazing. The acting is very, very good. The story, at times... Actually, no, man, I was going to say it's simplistic to sound critical of the film, but it's amazing. The story is very good. The story is very well told. All the powers in it are very cool. Eben Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon, I think, is, also just amazing and incredible. And if you have not seen it, then you need to watch it.
Deadpool 2, while not as good as the first one in my opinion, is still a pretty good film. It's been a while since I've watched it, and I still like it, but I wasn't as keen on it as the first one, so I don't remember it all that well. But from what I can remember, it's very good. The opening sequence is incredibly good. It's very chaotic, it's very entertaining. From there, the film dips slightly. Russell, the little fat kid, I like him. I think his name's Russell. I don't know if I've made that up, but the little fat guy, he's cool. I like him. Colossus is very good in the film. Juggernaut's pretty cool. I like Juggernaut. I like the fight scene in the prison. I like that. I like Domino. I like her. I like obviously. Everyone who's seen the film loves the scene where the X-Force all get slaughtered. It's very, very funny. I recommend it. Venom rocks. Okay, Venom is so sick. You've got the guy, Venom, and he's biting people's heads off. It has an original score by Eminem, which rocks. There's a part in it where Venom says, human, you and I aren't so different. And that part, when I heard that, I knew this film rocks. There's a part in it where Venom fights another Venom. And my God, I've never seen anything like it. But seriously, Venom's pretty cool. Okay, if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend watching Venom. There's a cool part where he gets chased by drones and Venom says, I'm Venom, and he kills them all. It's so cool. Deadpool is a very, very good film. Growing up, Deadpool was my favourite superhero, mainly because of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And watching Deadpool for the first time when I was younger was an incredible experience. People give, Ryan Reynolds a lot of smack. I think he was the perfect casting for Deadpool. He brings out the best in the character. I think he was perfectly cast for it. Film itself is very good. It's very funny. The main villain is purposefully, or at least I hope purposefully, insanely basic and unremarkable. But the film is very, very good. It's very entertaining. Soundtrack is good. The action sequences are great. I don't like that one guy with the long hair and the glasses who says a lot of sweary words and makes a lot of sex jokes. Aquaman is actually pretty good. It's surprising the fact that, Aquaman... Shit. Aquaman actually ends up being one of the better films made by DC in that kind of era of movies, that little Justice League that they were building up there. It's actually pretty good. Jason Momoa is very good as Aquaman. There's one weird part in it where it's like a younger version of Aquaman, and it's not acted out very well. Willem Dafoe's in it. It's awesome. Black Manta's in it. He's kind of cool. I like his costume. I like the fight scene that he has with Aquaman. Aquaman's little bass theme that plays every time he comes on screen rocks me to my core. But it's pretty good as superhero movies go.
Daredevil. It's a film that they made many, many moons ago. It's got Ben Affleck in it, so it's got Batman in it. So you've got Batman playing Daredevil, who would go on to play Batman, and it's just bad, actually. I could have went round the wee charade for a while, but like it's just bad. I could take the low-hanging fruit of the playground scene, the low-hanging fruit of the ending with the Kingpin, the low-hanging fruit of any line of dialogue or any shot or anything that could be moderately interesting about this film. It's just boring and bland and uneventful and shite and crap and wank. And that's me out of insults to hurl at Daredevil, because it's not worth me thinking about any more creative insults than just low-hanging fruit swear words. Don't waste your time with 2002 or whenever it was as Daredevil. Don't even know when it was from. The Batman is a heavily David Fincher Zodiac 7 crime drama inspired masterpiece of Batman, I think. Like, the world in Gotham it sets up is a very, very fun, proper, gritty detective story, and Batman just happens to be in this detective story. You've got elements of John Wick as well, with the iceberg kind of representing the Continental, and you throw all these things together, you've got an absolute star-studded cast, and performances that are all 10 out of 10. You've got one of the better Bruce Wayne performances of this absolute wreck, Robin Pattinson doing his best to portray the absolute wreck, I should say. You've got a world where the Riddler wins in the end, and everything he wanted to happen happened. You've got it's so much fun to rewatch, but I didn't enjoy it the first time I watched it. What a weird film that is, isn't it? See Howard the Duck. Why is it not, like, bad? The first 40 minutes of the film are just funny duck jokes. Actually, they're insufferable duck jokes, but I just have a warped sense of humour when it comes to terrible, terrible jokes. It then becomes a bit of a romance and story. Like, the duck becomes a manager. Like, it's a series of incredibly absurd events, and then it becomes even more absurd when there's, like, lightning gods and stuff. I don't see what's wrong with Howard the Duck. Well, there's things wrong with it, but it's not as bad as people say it is. I think it's a duck called Howard, and he's like the main character of a film. You know, what more do you want? Except from funny duck out of Duck World jokes and sex references with ducks. Yeah, he's got a bad sense of humour, okay, but there is really some good stuff in here. Yeah. Batman 89. One of the better Batman films. It's top 3, I'd say, of the Batman films. It is got the best theme out of any bit of Batman media you will encounter, and I hate to say that to the 60s Batman show. I really do. But no, the theme from Batman 89 is iconic. The costume as well actually might be the best one in terms of... This is Batman, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. My favourite might be 60s campy Batman, but Batman is this version, and the Batmobile is this version, specifically this film, and the Joker is this Joker, specifically this Joker. I have really no complaints about this film. The art house scene is top tier. The gallery. The Batman is a heavily David Fincher Zodiac 7 crime drama inspired masterpiece of Batman, I think. Like, the world in Gotham it sets up is a very, very fun, proper gritty detective story, and Batman just happens to be in this detective story. You've got elements of John Wick as well, with the iceberg kind of representing the Continental, and you throw all these things together, you've got an absolute star-studded cast and performances that are all 10 out of 10. You've got one of the better Bruce Wayne performances of this absolute wreck, Robin Pattinson doing his best to portray the absolute wreck, I should say. You've got a world where the Riddler wins in the end, and everything he wanted to happen happened. You've got just, it's so much fun to rewatch, but I didn't enjoy it the first time I watched it. What a weird film that is, isn't it? There's a bit in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer where they make it out like the multiverse is coming, so I went into this film expecting the multiverse, and what I actually got was a joke. That annoyed me. Also, the film's like about sunglasses, I think. I have no care in sunglasses. Mysterio is very, very cool. There's a lot of really, really, really good sequences between him and Peter Parker. The funny Mysterio in the background of all the films originally was just really funny because it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't particularly like Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't particularly like Tom Holland and Zendaya's iterations of the characters they're meant to be, and all the lovey-dovey romancy stuff in this. Boring. The opening to the film, though quite fun also. Not. It's one of, if not my least favourite Spider-Man film, and that is... No, it is my least favourite Spider-Man film. Yeah, this is the worst Spider-Man film. Yeah, Far From Home, you suck. The Wolverine is an incredibly underrated film. It's an incredibly overhated film. A lot of people want to crap talk the Wolverine because it's rubbish. It's not good. It's actually pretty damn decent. The first hour 45 minutes of this 2 hour 18-minute film, yes, it's a bit long, are really, really, really good and really quite engaging. But then, oh no, the last half an hour happens, and the last half an hour are absolutely terrible as they ruin everything that made the first 3-4 quarters of the film brilliant. It is Wolverine in a samurai film, and can you ask for anything cooler? Do you get cool? You get some pretty cool fight sequences, you get some cool look into a backstory for some characters, you got some cool, engaging side characters and main characters, in fact. But what you do have is a terrible ending. Stop hating the Wolverine. X-Men The Last Stand. That one film that everyone won't shut up about how it does too many storylines. It somehow fails to do the Phoenix and the Mutant Cure storyline. The Mutant Cure being one of the best storylines the X-Men ever did, along with the Phoenix. Well, I disagree. This is my favourite film. My favourite superhero film is Little Baby Boy. Because there is so much happening. There is so many cool characters. And yeah, they all don't get their time to shine, but look at all of them. The line of bad villains with Magneto, the line of good villains in the X-Men with their coolest uniforms, the black leather X, the opening bit where like it's a simulation. Oh, it gets me every time. The very some people character work. Wolverine does cool stuff. Yeah, cool. Phoenix is a bit poor, but actually no, it's not. It's fine. It's tolerable. It's all tolerable. Professor X dies. That one is a hoofed. But yeah, I see nothing wrong with it. I see nothing wrong with this film, and I stick by that. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is a Marvel project that when it was announced and when the trailer came out, I had such high hopes for. The idea of a proper kung fu, martial arty, what we're going to call it, terrorism based film featuring the Mandarin and a badass martial artist sounded like absolute gold. However, that's not what it ended up being, was it? It ended up being incredibly underwhelming and had more things to hate than I think any other film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It had more annoying characters in the shape of Katie. It had more annoying, aggravating uses of characters such as the Abomination and Wong and the Mandarin. Again, also Trevor Slattery returns, and that man can go and do one. The film has the odd cool sequence, and come the end, it looks like utter shit. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is dreadful. It's like, it's as good as Guardians is, like the characters, the banter, that's all fine. Aye, but also no, it's not. The villain, Ego, reveals to Star-Lord he's had hundreds of thousands of millions of babies and brothers, and then killed them all, and he also killed Star-Lord's mother, and they're joking and laughing by then. Yeah, the Yondu story is absolutely amazing, and even at that, it's probably overrated. But it's just like the one thing I'm clinging to through the entire thing is the Yondu story. It's pretty good. It's good. But Jesus, for God's sake, do better, Marvel. This is the film which made me dislike the amount of jokes. This was the first one where I was like, wait a minute. There's something up with these jokes. They feel forced and not natural in this one, and that doesn't feel right. Especially considering how good GOTG and GOTG V3 is. That was a bit of a hell of a sentence to say.
Spider-Man 1, 2001, whatever one is, a classic, lovable, and simple superhero film that doesn't make itself too complicated or convoluted compared to what many other superheroes films nowadays try to do with a massive story with like 8 subplots, which all have to be followed right before you fall asleep an hour and a half in of this 2 hour and a half bored fest. But you know what? This one doesn't have this at all, because it has the simple story, the simple message of great power comes great responsibility, that kind of thing, and a simple origin story. I like a good origin story because they are easy to follow. Really, they are just easy to follow, and even when the film's like really long, you kind of need that. So I really appreciate this one for being that, and it's great when he's just chilling and zooming about the place, finding his power, and it's really good. And so is the love story and the action. Check it out, but I bet you have already. Still, Spider-Man 2, a brilliant sequel that is what a sequel should be all about, pretty much. It didn't ruin the first film or anything, because, I don't know, I feel like some sequels can do that, but it got the first film and just made it better in a way, like, is what it should be. And I'm still pretty mixed as to whether I like this one more or the first one. It's still up in the air, but maybe one day I'll make a full analysis on it, because it's so interesting. I don't see people talk about this film as much. But anyhow, we see this new and probably the best villain for me in the form of Doc Ock, as he is a great villain. It felt like the most difficult to beat. I feel like if you were in that battle, it would probably be more difficult to beat than the other one in the sequel to the sequel and the first film. But it's the best climax out of the three, as well, as Peter pulls the webs together to save the train. It's just wonderful, and I love it. And yeah, check it out if you haven't. You probably have.
Eternals. I watched it once, and I thought it was pretty decent, but other than that, it obviously didn't feel like Marvel, which is a good thing sometimes. Sometimes it's good to just slip away and just be your own thing, and Eternals definitely is that. Is there a sequel coming out? I have no idea at this point. I knew it was like confirmed or something, but about 6 of the Eternals are dead or something. I kind of forgot the past 3 years or something when I last watched it, and it's pretty fine. It's one of those quiet films, do you know what I mean? Like, not a lot happens for about 20 minutes, and then something happens, and then not a lot happens for 20 minutes. Like, it's quiet. You don't want to watch it, with an awkward date, if you know what I mean. That's what, you don't want to watch Eternals, like, in that situation. But if you want to take the piss, then yeah, definitely, by all means. Avengers Endgame. It's the perfect climax, I must say. I was just talking about Infinity War there when recording this, but I think it is, like, obviously you can't get wrong with it. I know people have gripes with it, which I guess, understand. And I would say that Infinity War still is better, but Endgame just always seems to have that aura, like, it always puts a smile on your face, I suppose. Like, your testosterone boosts by at least 60% when watching the final climactic battle against Thanos. Like, it is true, though. Everyone did. I mean, I didn't see it at the pictures, but if I did, I probably would also be like, whoa, let's go, I'd be like, it'd be an experience and a half. If only if I could have experienced it. But I experienced it in my bed, so I suppose it's better than nothing. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I
forgot this film existed, and that's why I want to talk about this one, even though I'm not really sure what happens in it again. It flew by, even though it's like 2 hours long or something like that. Like, the fight happens and then like then the bad one explodes or something. I like, honestly haven't a clue what happens in it anymore, and I just want to bring it to light again in case anyone else happens to remember this film. I know there's some multiversal like phenomenon happening between this and like Morbius or something. I know that happens, is like that the villain from Spider-Man Homecoming is like appears in it briefly, or is that Morbius? I have no idea. They really intertwine with each other, don't they? I could give it a rewatch, but why? Just why? Why should I? The Batman. Oh, I didn't like this one. I just didn't. It was a fateful day in the Aerodean, and my back was killing me, my ass was killing me, and well, we were watching The Batman, and well, it was just torture, really. It wasn't good, it wasn't absolutely terrible, but maybe I need to give it a second try. I don't know what it was. I just could not like it. I just couldn't get into it at all. Maybe it's the fact that it's 3 hours, because it only seemed to be one of the only 3 hour films I watched in the pictures, and well, I fell asleep during it. But the film looks good. There's some good action. But that's it, really. I don't know, it just seemed to drag on just a little bit. Well, that's just 3 hour films for you. Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to talk about this one specifically because, well, I'm a sucker for, fan service, I suppose. Films that just really reek of nostalgia sometimes. I mean, I have no nostalgic attachment to Spider-Man, but even so, you can just tell, like, there's a good aura around, like, the cinema when we were all watching it. It was a very, very good time. Obviously, when the old Spider-Mans came back and everyone was cheering for joy, it's cheesy as hell, but I'm a sucker for it. It just brings everyone together. It's better than a quiet cinema, so I always have that little attachment to it. And the build-up, I was actually excited for the film as well. Like, one of the only Marvel films I was actually, like, properly hyped for. Very good. In this OMFRU, I'm gonna just go away from Marvel for a little minute and just talk about The Incredibles, because I think it's a superhero film. I mean, of course it is. I mean, I am saying that as if it's a debate. It's definitely not a debate. It is virtually a superhero film, but, it's nice to have a nice diversion. Incredibles is, well, by no stretch of the imagination, incredible. Even if you haven't watched it for a long time, you can still picture that it's good. I think it's one of my dad's favourite films as well, which is a surprise, and we watched it at school once, and I don't know why, it was like this watch for specifically in class was so funny to me. Like, I laughed the entire way, so it must show that it's good at some point. But it was at a specific point in class where it was like my favourite film at one point. It's amazing. Avengers Infinity War. You can't get wrong with this one. This one is perfectly fine. Very, very, very good, actually, because it seems to be, like, if you're a hard critic of the MCU, and when I mean that, you mean you hate everything that Marvel puts out nowadays, which I wouldn't blame you for, your favourite film in the MCU is probably Infinity War, because it's probably one of the last really good ones, Some people seem to like it better than Endgame because of the cliffhanger at the end, but I think it is better. But as a climax, obviously Endgame, but Infinity War's an amazing build-up, and, well, we'll probably get discussed one day, so, watch out for that one. And it made me want to watch it again. And it's actually a good 2.5 hour film that you could watch without sleeping. Big Hero 6. definitely one of the best superhero films to ever exist, because it's in my top 10 favourite films, obviously. Of course it is. I've only revisited it recently to do the podcast on it, and, well, I was still very much not disappointed of it. I don't know how many times I've watched it. A lot. Because, well, it was always the film you turned on before, you go to your bed every night when you're about 6 or 7. No, I would have been about 9 to 10 years old when it came out, holy God. But it doesn't matter. It's very, very good when it comes to just a superhero film in general. I love it's the power of friendship, honestly. It's a cheesy trope, but it works very well in this. And you really still get the realization that it's a Marvel property, technically. Yeah, never, always don't remember that one. Captain America 1, MCU, the First Avenger, whatever the hell it's called. It's pretty good. Well, it started... I was going to say it started the whole MCU thing, but it really wasn't, because everything was in chronological order when I started watching it. So, it's not the first film. I keep forgetting that Iron Man 1 exists, but this one is perfectly decent for an origin story. I mean, it always seems to be that origin stories in superhero films, or films in general, they just seem to have the best, thing. They always seem to be much better when it comes to, sequels are great and all that, but it's always the origin of it. Especially because they have a lot of ideas as well. But this one's perfectly fine, and I like the setting. It's very different, even though it's just World War II, but you don't find that in Marvel at all. Hulk. Just Hulk. Just the word Hulk. 2003 Hulk. Not the Hulk, not the Incredible Hulk, just Hulk. And it's obviously very, very good. I'm including it in this OMFRU because, well, it's the best Hulk thing that there is. I don't think I've even watched the MCU Incredible Hulk. But it just, I don't know, it doesn't stick out to me as much, especially because of the actors changing and stuff like that. It just seems like it's totally separate entity, but this is its totally separate entity as well, and it's bloody good. It just doesn't feel like there's any specific ties or anything to other films. It's just its own thing, and they actually handle it very well for this time around, and I commend it for that. I mean, it flew by when I was watching it, so it must be good.
Thank you very much for listening to this edition of OMFRU, as we had 31-minute film roundups all about superhero films. Check us out next month for whatever the next OMFRU may be, and if you want to leave your own OMFRU, please do it in the little voice message section down below. The only rule is it has to be 1 minute long. Thank you very much, folks, and, well, until next time.